We've had a blockbuster Senate race down here in Georgia that's just captured the attention of the entire country. You've got Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock, who's defending his Senate seat against his Republican challenger Herschel Walker, which is the first time that two Black men have been vying for a Senate seat in literally the history of the entire South. Throughout this entire campaign, Herschel Walker has been scandal plagued by a lot of different gaffes that he's made on the campaign trail. Walker has attempted to, lambast Warnock for, a number of issues that have gone on in his past as well. But Warnock has attempted to just take a very, very positive tone in the campaign up until this final stretch, where you have seen Warnock make more stridently and more clearly the case that Walker is unfit for office to represent Georgia in the Senate. That has been coupled with the fact that you've also seen Walker begin to really recede from the campaign trail in the recent days. While Warnock has been stumping in 16 to 20 events over just the past week alone, you've seen Walker not appear as much on the campaign trail in this runoff, and a lot more that his surrogates, like Governor Brian Kemp, have been really taking to the trail to make the case for him instead. This runoff, for instance, is very, very different because it's not defining the balance of power in the Senate. All the campaigns on the ground here have had to figure out what that means for their message and how they can craft that to make sure that people still feel like their vote matters here in Georgia, even if Warnock is going to be the 51st vote or Herschel the 50th vote, not the vote that determines the entire power of the chamber. Enthusiasm is always expected to drop off a little bit when it comes to a runoff. That said, for what could be a drop in turnout and drop in enthusiasm, we have not seen what people were fearing and people were expecting. The runoff has actually shown that there is still a lot of energy on the ground here in Georgia. You've seen people going back to the polls in record-breaking numbers. I'm talking 200,000 plus people a day in early voting runoff. You also have plenty of folks from all across the country coming here. We've had Ted Cruz, Nikki Haley, Rick Scott, a whole panoply of Republicans who have come to back Herschel Walker in his challenge to Raphael Warnock. Warnock, meanwhile, has had Senator Cory Booker come down and campaign with him all across the state, as well as Barack Obama, the former president, will also be coming down in early voting to help support Warnock. This runoff is really going to show, when it comes down to the wire in such a polarized state, whose tactics, whose energies, and whose strategy is actually going to be able to really push their candidate over the line in this very, very divided race. Democrats are very excited by the high turnout numbers that they've seen from all across Georgia, but especially in, Democratic strongholds like metropolitan Atlanta, Savannah, and Clark County. This is something that Republicans have disputed because they've claimed that there's still high turnout in total registered voters in, for instance, the northern part of the state, which is traditionally more of a Republican stronghold. I believe this race is going to hinge on whether Warnock will be able to hold on to a lot of the voters who backed Republicans in a lot of other races around the state, but weren't able to actually support Walker, and whether the Democrats will be able to put out their base of support who still strongly back Warnock and still strongly favor him and have a very, very negative opinion of Walker.